Greetings and hello everyone. Today we're going to be solving multi-step equations. So a multi-step equation is an equation that uses more than one property of equality to solve it. To solve this type of equations, you can undo each operations using the property of equality. Working backwards in the order of operations makes the process simpler. Each step in this process results in equivalent equations. So let's take a look at number 1. So I have this equation 2a minus 6 equals 4. So the first thing that's happening to my variable a is it's being multiplied by 2. And then it's being added by 6. So I'm going to go opposite, so that means I'm going to add 6 to both sides. And when I say both sides, I mean either side of the equal sign. So I can draw a line right down the center of the equal sign. And what I add to one side, I have to do to the other side. So negative 6 and positive 6 gives me a 0. So that leaves me with 2a on the left. On the right, I have 4 plus 6 more, which is 10. Now I want to undo the multiplication that's happening because this is 2 times a. So to undo the multiplication, I'm going to divide both sides by 2. 2 divided by 2 is just 1. So we are left with a. 10 divided by 2 is 5. So we've solved this equation. If we want to check it, we can check it. So for the check, we take the value that we've found after solving it and we plug it back into the original problem. So 2 times 5 minus 6, will that give me 4? 2 times 5 is 10 minus 6, and 10 minus 6 is 4. So the check shows that we solved this problem correctly. Let's take a look at B. So B, the first thing that's happening to my variable n is it's being added by 1. And then it's being divided by negative 2. So I'm going to undo the division of negative 2 by multiplying both sides by negative 2. When I do that on the left, I have a negative 2 in the numerator and a negative 2 in the denominator. Those just become 1, leaving me with n plus 1 equals 15 times negative 2 is negative 30. Now I'm going to undo what's adding to the n. So I'm going to subtract 1 from both sides. That gives me n. Positive 1 and negative 1 is 0 equals negative 30 minus 1 more is negative 31. Again, I can check this to make sure I solved this out correctly. So for the check, I go negative 31 plus 1 divided by negative 2 and want to know, will that give me 15? Well, negative 31 plus 1 more is negative 30 over negative 2. Negative divided by negative is a positive. 30 divided by 2 is 15. So it checks out. So for the first one, I have 3m plus 4 equals negative 11. So I want to solve for that m. To solve for that m, I'm going to undo the multiplication, then undo the addition. So subtract 4, subtract 4. I'm not doing anything with the 3m on this line, so I'm just going to bring it down to my next line so I don't lose it. Positive 4 and negative 4 gives me a 0. Negative 11 and negative 4 more is negative 15. Now I want to undo what's happening to the m. So the m is multiplied by 3, so I'm going to divide by 3. 3 divided by 3 is just 1, leaving me with m. Negative divided by a positive is a negative. 15 divided by 3 is 5. So m equals -5. For my next one, I'm going to go ahead and solve again for my variable. My variable is x. X is starting off with being subtracted by 5 and then being divided by 7. So I want to undo the division, so I'm going to multiply both sides by 7. So I have a 7 in the numerator and a 7 in the denominator. That just leaves me with x minus 5. 7 times 8 is 56. Now I want to undo the subtraction that's happening to the x, so I'm going to add 5 to both sides. That leaves me with a 0 over here on the right. So I have x equals 56 plus 5 more is 61. So let's take a look at some word problems. So the student council raised 2/5 of the money they needed to cover the cost of the school dance with a bake sale. They raised an additional $150 selling raffle tickets. If the student council raised $630, what is the cost of the dance? So let's go through and pull out the information. So the student council raised 2/5 of the money they needed for a bake sale. Then they raised an additional $150 selling raffle tickets. If they raised a total of $630, what is the cost of the dance? So cost of dance, that's what we're trying to solve for. Well, 2/5 of the money was raised in a bake sale. So 2/5 of the money for the dance was raised in the bake sale. Then they sold an additional $150 for a grand total of $630. So here's our equation. Let's go ahead and solve out this equation. So I'm going to undo the addition first. So minus 150 minus 150. Positive 150 and negative 150 gives you 0, leaving you just with 2/5 times d equals 480. I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal of 2/5. The reciprocal of 2/5 is 5/2. By doing this, this gives me 10 divided by 10, which is just 1. 5/2. So I get d equals $1,600. So the cost of the dance is $1,600. A sporting goods store sold 2/3 of its basketballs, but 8 of them were returned. Now the store has 38 basketballs. How many of them were there originally? So the store sold 2/3 of its basketballs. 8 were returned. Now they have 38 basketballs in total. So we want to write and solve an equation for the original. How many were there originally? So they sold 2/3 of their basketballs. So they sold 2/3 of their basketballs. But 8 of them were brought back. So that's an additional 8 being brought back, for a total of 38 basketballs in the store. So let's go ahead and solve this. So I'm going to start off with subtracting 8 from both sides. Positive 8 and negative 8 gives you a 0. I can bring this down because I'm not doing anything with it on this line. So that gives me 2/3 times b equals 30. Multiply by the reciprocal. So times by 3/2 times by 3/2. This gives you 6/6, which is just 1. 30 times 3 is 90. 90 divided by 2 is 45. So there was 45 basketballs originally in the store. So take a moment and write a summary of what we learned for today, and then you can use these notes to help you answer any practice problems that you have. Have a great day.